Afghanistan is one of the poorest economies of the world. More than half of its population lives under poverty. Over 18 million people are dependent on foreign aid for their basic necessities. This is a story we have all heard and sympathised with. But there is another side that not many know. Afghanistan has vast mineral reserves, which includes precious gemstones, copper, gold, coal, iron ore and rare earth metals, all worth over $1 trillion. With the Taliban's regained control of the country, the mineral reserves have also fallen into their hands. Today we will talk exclusively about Afghanistan's copper reserves. A 2019 report by Afghanistan's Ministry of Mines and Petroleum put the country's copper resource at almost 30 million tonnes. Not just that, the country has an additional 28 million tonnes of copper that has not yet been discovered. That's 60 million tonnes of copper, which is valued at hundreds of billions of dollars, a figure that will keep on rising as the demand for metal grows. Our correspondent Anas Malik travelled to the untapped treasure trove of Afghanistan, and after the tiresome gathering of all permissions, he managed to visit one of Afghanistan's copper reserves in the Logar Province, accompanied by 2 armed men.
So we're on the way. We stopped at Logar's Vilayat, the provincial headquarters. The men behind me that you see, they've been given as escorts who would be accompanying us. Let's just have a word with them. One of them's name is Mansoor. Because of the situation around the country after the Taliban takeover, it is absolutely essential to seek permission while traveling from one province to another.
Logar is 53 kilometres away from Kabul. It takes almost 90 minutes to reach Mes-Aynak, where the coal fields are located. The drive to the location is not the smoothest one. Once you get off the highway, the off-roading gets a bit challenging. One would see plenty of damaged mud houses on the way, stones lying around on the road, resulting in a bumpy ride. We stopped by a bombed mosque in Babos village en route Mes-Aynak.
While en route to Mes-Aynak copper fields, which is roughly an hour and a half from the provincial capital of the Logar Province, you'd see sites like these. I'm standing at a mosque, or what used to be a mosque. You can see this mosque is now entirely damaged. Locals here allege that this was bombed by the then Afghan army for the fact that they thought that the Taliban were operating from here. You can see my camera person can follow me as well. This is the point of impact to where the rockets had landed, destroying the mosque completely, making it entirely dysfunctional. Those are the carpets or prayer mats where it used to be. You'd see sites like these quite often while on the way to Mes-Aynak from the provincial capital, that is Pole-Alm, which is the provincial capital of the province of Logar.
We talked to the caretaker of the collapsed mosque, who seemed all praises for the Taliban and Islamic Emirates. But the body language says otherwise. Fear at the prospect of facing armed Talibs palpable on his face.
2 nights before the fall of Logar, government-backed forces bombed this vicinity. They bombed our houses, the mosque too. The Imam of the mosque lost his life. Our preference was that of an emirate and that we wanted an Islamic system, and the previous system was not Islamic. Our prayers were that the previous system should end, and it did.
Mes-Aynak has one of Afghanistan's major copper fields. The name itself translates to source of copper. This region is nature's treasure chest and a testament to Afghanistan's rich cultural past. There was a time when this site was flourishing with artifacts. There were Buddhist monasteries, markets, statues, which have now been turned to rubble. As of this day, Mes-Aynak lies abandoned and inaccessible.
I'm standing in Aynak village in Logar Province. It's roughly 60 kilometers from Kabul city, the capital of Afghanistan. The white office sort of that you see behind me is known as the base to the Aynak copper field. It's an office that's usually functional, but it has not been functional for a while because of the intense flooding. The way that leads to Mes-Aynak, the copper fields, has been completely inaccessible. You can see that there's a widened gap between the main road and the water flow that has actually swept the road away. Mes-Aynak literally translates into small copper fields. It has 240 million tons of copper reserves that can potentially go up to an economy of 3 trillion as the Taliban have taken over. But that largely remains unexplored for the time being. Anas Malik in Logar, Afghanistan for WION World is One.